Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 406. I went live slightly early because I thought we'd play a game and try to figure out who would be the first one here outside of myself. I don't know if that's good or bad. Already won the Switch 2 round. Hey, we'll see. So we're going to go through here and see who gets in. There is somebody who's going to be returning tonight that has not been on in a while, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to see him pop in as we go. Okay, so who does everyone think? All right, somebody got here. Who does everyone think is the first one into the Spawncast? Let's see it in the chat. Who is the first one? Oh no, I have a slight throat cough. Nothing major. The first person is actually Evan.
Yep.
Evan is here. He's the first one. First one. Oh, okay. We have the third person is here. Who do you guys think is the third person who showed up after I posted the link? Let's see. I see Josie. I see it is Celia.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh shit! Audio working.
Evan here.
Oh, uh-oh.
No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, you sound good. Sound good. Everyone can hear it, Celia, right? She seemed fine. Sound fine. Sean will be last. And then our fourth, who's actually returning after quite a long trip. So actually, I'm got to give it to him for hopping on here because this dude should still be asleep at this point. And that is MVG.
Hello.
Modern Vintage Gamer is here.
It's great to be back, John. Hello, Celia. Hello,
Hi.
Evan.
See, at one point, MVG said I had to bring the energy back up. And look at that. I did full productions, dropping people in. Louder than usual. Almost have a little echo going here, how loud I am.
Got to bring some seriousness back to the podcast, John. So I thought I'd pop in.
We need MVG back here. Yes. So MVG is here. He spent last couple days at GDC. So I want to hear a little bit about those adventures and what it looked like there, because it almost feels like you get a little bit of a vibe from the industry going there and just kind of walking around, looking around, right? They can get an idea.
Yeah,
so,
it was good. It was a good show. We'll talk about it.
We will have Sean joining us soon. He's waiting till halftime with the Knicks. I think they're beating up the Wizards or something right now anyway. I think they were up pretty well. Yeah, they're up by 20 points. So they're I think that's going to be a runaway. So he might even just join after that. We'll see. But he should be here at halftime. Halftime is in about 8 minutes, I'd say. So probably about 9:10, 9:15 he'll pop in. This is episode 405. And it's I think it's going to be an interesting one. Some craziness happened this week. We have some more stuff coming up in a couple of weeks, which I'll tell people now at the top of the episode. Next weekend, we'll talk about Nintendo and all their stuff coming up with their big event. So I'll bring some people in for that, and it should be a lot of fun going into it. So tonight, though, we got the Assassin's Creed Shadow stuff, which MVG, big Assassin's Creed guy, so I'm glad you joined us for this one. So I thought it'd be good to have MVG here with that. We had Xenoblade Chronicles X, RPG85 will tell us about it, as well as OJ. OJ should be popping in here pretty soon, too. And we had the handheld stuff. Sean brought that up in his video, and it's funny. I thought the same thing when I put that 3DS video together, and the games that I was interested in were like the weird ports, MVG and Celia. You know what I'm talking about? Like the ones that they have to figure out how to get on that handheld. It was weirder in the DS and the Game Boy Advance days. Kind of still there with the 3DS. That's the one I wanted to pick. I wasn't like, I don't really want to download Dragon Quest 8. I've played that. Let me find what this Transformers game is. And it was not a third-person action game. It was a strategy tactics RPG. So not what I was expecting. But that should be fun. And then the Steam Xbox situation got kind of interesting with an update by Microsoft. So a lot of stuff to go over here. So MVG, how did GDC go? How was that?
GDC was very busy as always. It's my 5th year in a row. So I'm pretty much a veteran of GDCs these days, and it was a very busy GDC. But I will say, I sent a screenshot in our private group a couple of days ago, John. It was less people this year. A lot of larger companies didn't show up, didn't spend the money, didn't see Unreal, didn't see Unity on the show floor. They're usually there every year with huge booths. They weren't there. Now, they were still at GDC, but I think they were just conducting business out of various hotels, various hotel suites and stuff like that. So the show this year was a little disappointing. The show floor was only about 3/4 full from what it normally would be as far as capacity, and there was obviously a lot of focus on AI this year. But the good news is it was a great show for smaller AAAs, indies. A lot of companies are doing these like smaller, more calculated bets now and spending money on smaller things, as we know, because a lot of investment in big budget games haven't gone very well. So I think a lot of publishers are now focusing more on basically the smaller things that kind of can make money for them. As far as myself goes, it was busy. LRG, we met with a lot of our partners during the week. Capcom, Sega, Konami, Atari. We talked some stuff that I can't really reveal too much about it. We talked to some outlets as well. So there's some articles that you'll probably start to see in the next week or so. A lot of focus on new business, which was really good, and talking to existing partners. We also had a panel as well on Thursday.
Yes,
my first ever GDC panel.
Go?
So I will say I've applied to do a GDC talk, I think every year since I've been going, and I've always been turned down. But this year I wasn't. So we were able to do one, and it was really good. It was about retro game capture and how it's evolved over the years. A very interesting talk because, if you look at the old magazines like the Nintendo Powers and the Game Pros and the EGMs, look at the screenshots in the magazines, and you wonder how they did captures like that. So we had Mike Micah from Digital Eclipse was kind of talking us through, how things were done in the old days. We had Mike Chi on as well. He was part of the panel. He was talking about RetroTink and 4K and all that sort of stuff, the RetroTink 4K. We also had John Linneman from Digital Foundry, who obviously is very well knowledged in all things retro and capture. Audie Surley was also on. He works at Limited Run as well as Digital Foundry and myself. So that was a really fun panel. Had a lot of people turn up for that. It'll probably end up on the GDC Vault, which is their kind of archive of all the panels that's ever been done at GDC.
There he is.
Yeah, there's a photo right there.
There he is.
But I saved the best till last because we had dinner with some amazing Sega legends, which was, I think it was Wednesday night. We went out to dinner and we had dinner with Hideaki Kobayashi, who's the sound director for Phantasy Star Online 2, and Michiyoshi-san, who's done Daytona, Virtua Fighter 2, Shenmue. I mean, we're talking gods here, right? Like I'm sitting at a dinner table with these guys, and I'm just like absolutely fanboying at this point of the amount of genius and amazing people that are literally in front of me at this dinner. But GDC was good. It was very busy. It was a great conference. But honestly, I'm glad the week is done, and I'm glad I'm back home because it's a lot.
What was this? I got another picture I actually want to put up here on BG. What was going on here? Where is this exactly? Here we go. Bring this up. That's
a Digital Eclipse. So every year we go to Digital Eclipse, and we have like an annual kind of hangout drinking session, and we just play their arcade games and just kind of shoot the shit. So this is, if you go to Digital Eclipse, it's like multi-level. You walk into the building, and then in the basement, as you can see, this is the arcade bar area, and they have all sorts of cool arcade machines down there. And upstairs is obviously where the actual offices are, where they do their work. But they are out in Oakland, so we just took an Uber over the Bay Bridge and went to their offices and had a good time. It was a lot of fun.
That's good. Good stuff. It was a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
that's GDC 2025 then in the books. So hopefully in a few years you could tell us how awesome it was when you get to reveal your cool new game or something that's under embargo until then. So
I think it's usually like the stuff that happened last year at GDC is now starting to bear fruit. So it doesn't take that long for announcements to get made. I mean, obviously other bigger companies, AAAs, probably take a lot longer. But for us, it's usually about a 12 to 18 month window or period of time. And then the announcements get made. So the stuff that happened last year will probably start getting unveiled this year for us. So we'll see.
Awesome. That's exciting. That's exciting stuff. OJ, how's it going over there?
Going good. Had a good Spawncast pre-show. It's good to be here once again. Yeah, a lot of fun.
I did a round of introductions as people filed in, so you were here basically right on time, but everyone else had already popped in and we started.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. If you guys want to watch the Spawncast pre-show, we go about maybe an hour before. So there's actually a lot more people that showed up this time. I think now that we're doing it again, so people are remembering. Oh yeah, there's actually like a pre-show now. So like we had like about 300 people or so. So yeah, it's getting back to those before we took a little break on that. So yeah, it's good stuff. So if you guys want to watch the pre-show, Player Essence channel's there. But I'm happy to be here tonight. Happy to be back once again. So yeah.
Yeah, pop in, say hi to OJ an hour before, and then we'll roll right into the Spawncast. So and we will need your help with Xenoblade Chronicles X as well. You and RPG85 are on top of that. So, actually, I don't know if Celia got it too. I should have asked you, Celia. You're like the RPG person too.
No, I have too many games to play.
That Xenoblade's a commitment. That's gonna be a bit.
That might be an understatement.
Yeah, that's gonna be a bit. So let me go over here. I saw some people already drop things. Okay, I don't know why StreamYard does this now. They used to have like a separate tab for any of the super chats, and they do not do that anymore. I don't know if that's is that just me? I feel like
probably.
Huh. Necro Banana says MVG is the only British person I respect and love.
Thank you, Necro. Good to see you here.
Let's see. Super Christian Miro says the whole Assassin's Creed Shadows controversy is making Japan fed up with disrespectful people, and IRL streamers are making it worse. Heard of Johnny Somali?
Yeah, he's gone to prison in over there in South Korea. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, if you travel, you probably should be normal. Just don't be crazy. Grandman says, when are they dropping the Xbox 720? Check back in with 2003 for that. They're on those forums. If you go back and look, I definitely came across a couple Xbox 720 posts, which is really funny. Carlos says, love the Spawncast. Love the guest. Everyone is awesome. Wish you all the best. Shout out to Carlos P. Corvin says, while it's not perfect, I'm thoroughly enjoying my time with Assassin's Creed Shadows. After putting in almost 20 hours, I still don't understand the hate for it. Sir Brooks says, not understand the hate for Assassin's Creed Shadows. A few hours in, beautiful setting. Story is fun so far. Crisp controls. When am I supposed to hate this? Wow, okay. So Assassin's Creed Shadows was just a slight topic this week. I saw a few people talk about it. Not like a ton. I thought people would have been all about this thing. No one talking about it at all. So, okay. So, yeah, social media like caught on fire over this game, basically. And I'm almost 40 hours into the game, I'll say that. But I'm not the Assassin's Creed person of the group. I know this. I understand this. MVG weathered the storm with Valhalla, so I basically always yield to him for Assassin's Creed. I basically, if MVG tells me that it's good, I go, you know what? The Assassin's Creed people are probably going to like it. That said, I attempted like kind of an impressions, my thoughts video after 25 hours, and it was an interesting experience because I do like to read the comments. It sounds crazy to people. Man, every news wave, Evan knows sometimes, dude, how far down that comment section do I go sometimes to find a comment?
It's rough.
There are times where I have like 800 comments, and dude, it's like one of the last comments with like no thumbs up or anything, nothing, no interaction. I'm like, oh, I'll grab this one. So I like to read the comments all the time. And shout out to Mecca Omar, become a YouTube member. And I was going through it, and I noticed something. The first 2 days the video was up. A lot of frustration, a lot of anger in the comments. I mean, I didn't bury the game, so I don't know. That seemed to cause some issues. But over the last 2 days, I've noticed that more likes on the video have come in, and it's kind of like evened out the like to dislike ratio to where it is getting closer and closer in line with all my other videos. And the comments have been more and more positive. So it's almost like people have played the game.
People are actually playing the game before? No. That can't be the evidence that you're saying right now. People are actually playing it and giving their opinion.
I just these comments here reminded me of that, and I'm like, yeah, those are kind of some of the comments I'm seeing now, where people have kind of played it and they're like, okay, well, it's not the worst game in the world that I've ever played. Basically, I'm enjoying my time with it. So that was an interesting experience to kind of see that happen in real time, because my thoughts on it were, I'd say, still kind of in the middle, sort of. Like, I wasn't overly excited or happy with it. I wasn't super down on it either. It was basically, if you like Assassin's Creed, especially the past couple, you're gonna get a kick out of this game. Absolutely, you might as well just go buy it now. But I was like, if you're kind of like, I don't really want the checklist stuff all over the place, go do all this open world style game. You're more looking for that somewhat guided linear kind of experience. This might not be your thing, right? So, MVG, how much you play of it so far?
So I haven't played that much, John, because I got home yesterday and I've played about 5 hours of the game. But I think I know enough. I've seen enough to kind of understand the story of the game, where that's going to take me, as well as the game mechanics as well. I mean, look, this is an Assassin's Creed game through and through. Like, it's very, very familiar to me. Like, they kind of try to hide some certain things in the story, but at the end of the day, it's Assassin's Creed. You got smoke bombs, you've got weapons, you've got stealth, you've got assassinations, all that sort of stuff. It's through and through an AC game. I really like it, John. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. And I will tell you that I didn't read any previews of this game. I didn't watch any trailers of the game, except for maybe like the first revealed trailer years ago. I didn't get involved in any of the bullshit discourse about the game because I don't give a fuck about what people think about Assassin's Creed. I like the series. I've always played the games. I even played Valhalla, which was an absolute slog. This one, I believe, I think it's like a 40-hour campaign compared to Valhalla, which was like an 80-hour campaign. So graphically, the game looks absolutely gorgeous on the PS5 Pro. I think it's an amazing looking game. The weather systems in this game, the weather system in this game is awesome. The assassinations, the decapitations, it's all good stuff. It's everything that I want. And honestly, I've always wanted a Assassin's Creed in like feudal Japan, back in those days. This is something that I've wanted to see for a long time. So, man, it's ticking all the boxes for me. I'm really enjoying it. Now, there are a couple of things in this game that, there's a few technical issues that kind of bug me. There's a couple of times where the quests are broken, where like you go up and try to talk to someone and there's no like talk icon or no talk kind of prompt to do that. So I've had to kind of reload the save or quit out and come back, and it's fixed itself. That's happened a couple of times, and it kind of does get a little bit annoying. And John, I know you're playing on the PS5 Pro, but have you noticed that the frame rate cuts in half when you go into the hideout area?
Yes.
That part kind of just was like, what? I thought it was one of those things where I had the PS5 in rest mode and maybe it was, running out of memory or something. So I restarted everything and it happened again. Then I found out later on that I think it's just how it is. So that, I don't know. I feel like they should fix that. But I also realized that when you're in the hideout, there is a lot more systems that are running in the background. So maybe it's not as easy as that. But look, these are very minor nitpicks. I'm thoroughly enjoying my time with it. I'm going to be lost in this game probably for the next 4 weeks. I love it. Very happy with it. I think they
turn on like full ray tracing and stuff when you're in the hideout. I think that's the big thing that cuts the frame rate down.
But why? Why would you do that? Why not just have the option to disable it? Because I'd rather just play in performance mode all the time. I tried the 40 FPS mode, the balance mode. I didn't like that. I just went straight to performance mode and just playing it in that way.
I wonder if there's something with the building mechanics that like stresses maybe the CPU. So I was trying to think maybe they had it in performance, but it was in like the 40s or for some physics or something. And they're like, just cap it at 30 or ray tracing on, whatever. It's hard to say though, unless Ubisoft could explain it or something.
Yeah.
Sean, RGT85 is with us. How are the Knicks doing?
They're up like 26, I think, at the half.
Oh, wow. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the beatdown. Okay. Well,
24. No, wait, my math is wrong. 25. Excuse me.
Who's carrying him right now?
Bridges had 20 points in the second quarter.
Oh my gosh! In a quarter?
Yeah, he's just wilding, dude.
Man. All right, we just started talking about our Assassin's Creed Shadows thoughts, but I know you're like full Xenoblade mode right now.
I mean, I've put 12 or 13 hours into Assassin's Creed.
Okay. Yeah. So, MVG, I assume you're still just using Naue right now.
Yes. Yeah. And
Yep.
Yes, I am, and I've only done like a handful of main quest stuff because it's just very easy just to kind of go off the beaten path and find some other side missions. And that's the thing I love about it. Like, you know, you find the temples and you find the shrines and all that sort of stuff. And the thing I really like are those I can't remember what they're called, the flashback stories where you go back in time,
Yes,
to kind of understand what's going on.
the memories.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
those are really cool. The OJ, what do you think of Shadow so far? Oh, he seems speechless.
Yeah.
Sorry, my boy was going nuts. My boy was going nuts in the background.
Oh,
or something. He's like, we've been doing less Coco Melon, so he's a little upset. But yeah, I'm about 15 hours or so into it, and yeah, it's good. Like I'm not an Assassin's Creed guy. I've played all the Assassin's Creed games, but I don't beat them, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm big on Assassin's Creed. I'm just not. I don't like the games most of the time. This one is cool. Like, it's in Japan. I've wanted that for a while. You do hand signs when you go back in time. That's cool. I like hand signs, so that's fun too. But I do like the counter system is fun. Being able to counter and do a bunch of stuff. Sorry, my boy. Like I said, he hasn't had his Coco Melon all day, and he's just really upset with no Coco Melon. Mom's having a tough time with him there. So sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I'm enjoying it though. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's fun. There are some things that MVG said. I was streaming it, and like the assassination glitched out on me. Like, I literally assassinated somebody, and he grabbed my hand after I assassinated him. He grabbed my hand afterwards, lied back down, got back up, and then I assassinated him again, and then he like lied back down, and I'm like, what is going on? And I captured it, all of it. Maybe I'll release it on Twitter or something like that. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Funny, cool. I like the temple stuff too, because you get like rare gear and all that, and that stuff is dope. And yeah, it's just a fun game. And I have a story too, real quick story. You know how I Cobra Kai kicked my PS5 and it cracked the HDMI. The HDMI finally gave out. Like, in the middle of me, I couldn't capture anything, so I had to go buy a new PS5. So I got a PS5 Pro.
You got the Pro? Okay.
Yeah, because I had to buy a new PS5 because I couldn't capture footage. The HDMI gave out. Like, it would still work on my regular TV, but it wouldn't work on my capture card. So I was kind of like, I'm not gonna buy another PS5. So
did you throw it in performance mode for?
Yeah, I threw it in performance mode, but I've only played like 4 or 5 hours in performance mode because, like I said, I just got it, and I wasn't happy about having to get it just because of the disk drive situation. But whatever, I needed to, and I was also playing Atelier Yumiya, so I needed to capture footage. But yeah, I'm enjoying it though. The performance mode looks really good on the PS5 Pro. It looks considerably better than the standard PS5 because I was playing it for most of the time on the standard PS5. The PS5 Pro with the 60 frames and performance mode and everything, it looks great. So that's cool too. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's some issues. The checklist stuff, I can already see myself getting kind of tired of doing a lot of this stuff in there. But for right now, I think it's dope. Like, having a balance between like doing side quests and doing main quests is probably the best way to go about it, so you don't burn yourself out, if you are playing. For those who, get tired of the side quest stuff.
That's kind of how I've been doing it as I'm going between like the main, because like the main wheel where it has like all the characters supposed to go after for like the main targets. I think I have like 2 of them left, but there's like certain quest lines that pop. There's one quest line that popped up MVG that's like that's for Naue, and I'm telling you, when you get to it, you're gonna have like the Assassin's Creed fan reaction. So you're gonna say something about it. I'm telling you, you're gonna like drop an image in the chat or something about that one. So I'm excited for that. But the game itself, you're right. As I'm going around, I'm just doing all the little side missions and stuff. But I did notice that as I'm going in the kind of wandering around the world, it's not as usually when I think of Assassin's Creed, the thing that separated it for me from like Ghost of Tsushima, and you had brought this up, MVG, is the ability to climb a lot more. Yeah. I don't really have it as much here. I've noticed that there's a lot of points in like just the world where now you will like run up the side and then just slide down. And it's like, even though it looks like the side of a rock that you should be able to climb, like Valhalla, you could.
Because of the grappling hook.
Yeah, and the grappling hook is cool. And again, I've only just started, so maybe it gets upgraded and stuff. But that's one area that I'm not like really that big on. I don't like the way the grappling hook works. It feels a little very mechanical to me, and I don't like the fact that you have to toggle between climbing and swinging. If you know what I'm talking about,
Right? Yep.
It's just, I wish they would make that a little better. It's a little kind of mechanical, a little clunky. Again, you may get some upgrade later. I don't know, but in the early game, it's not my favorite thing, I would say.
The upgrade that I think maybe the only one, the upgrade I got for the grappling hook just made her climb faster.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll like book it up the grappling hook now.
That's good.
Which does actually help quite a bit when you're trying to infiltrate a base.
The thing I do really like is even in the early part of the game, like I'm only like level 6 or something character, you still feel like an absolute badass just going in there. Like you feel like you can just walk in, just decimate everyone. So you don't have to necessarily use the stealth mechanic. So I don't know. Like I don't really use the grappling hook as much.
Wait till you get Yasuke.
Yeah. Well, I
my
mean,
goodness.
You obviously get you get to play him at the beginning, right, in the prologue stuff, and incredible, like the amount of damage he does.
Some of it's pretty funny because he just like he's like brutal, dude. Some of the stuff he'll just annihilate a whole handful of enemies, and it's like Mortal Kombat fatality after fatality. It is like craziness that's happening there.
I've gotten cooked a number of times, but that's because like I'm playing on like the hardest, like the expert, and I don't have like the easy assassination thing either. Sometimes when you try to assassinate people, depending on like their armor level, you won't get the assassination. They'll actually block it or grab your hand or do other things. So like whenever you said you don't have to use the stealth, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to use the stealth all the time. Otherwise, they'll just gang up on you and stuff like that.
There's an option because people were mentioning this. I'm like, yeah, but it's not like on by default, so that tells me the game's not necessarily designed for it. So you can do instant assassination. Like you can turn it on and you'll always get that like 100% assassination. But then everyone's like, it's too easy at that point for stealth because the game's not designed for it.
Way too easy. But if you put it on like the expert, they'll have extra armor and extra health. So even then, like, like trying to get some of the assassinations, you wouldn't get them normally. And like try to like fight a bunch of people surrounding you would be more difficult. But yeah, it'll get harder though, MVG. Like it'll definitely get harder to where you might have to use that stealth a little bit more, or there might be an incentive to do it more.
Yeah.
Yes, Celia, they're cats.
Yeah, for context, I just sent our group chat the best part of the game, which is that you can pet cats and dogs. I took photos of the screen and sent it to people as my "you should play it, this is why" example.
You actually keep a record of them as you like pet. Like you pet them, it'll tell you the breed of the dog and everything.
They're so cute. I don't have much to add about it because I just started the game. So you guys are you're like, I just started. Started. I had to beat Catherine full body. So I finished that game, my first run through of it. It was really fun. And then I had to catch up on some anime. The new Solo Leveling came out and it's really, really good. So I was a little busy, but now I'm going to jump into it.
I started watching Solo Leveling. It's kind of like Dot Hack mixed with Dragon Ball.
I love that you mentioned Dot Hack. I have some of the manga. Like I was gonna grab it, but never mind. But yeah.
What? So how much of it did you play for Assassin's Creed? Just play.
I'm still in the very beginning.
No, that's fine.
Like I'm just playing as like that way. So like I'm early map opened up. Yay.
Okay. I will say that. Are you playing?
Do you like the game? What are your thoughts?
I think it's cool. It's just I'm just getting started, so I feel like I haven't like formulated an opinion about things. I did have the thought of when I'm supposed to dislike it, since I saw so much Discord online and like how everyone was like talking about everything. I'm enjoying it so far. I'll probably like play through everything since it's not like too crazy. Like 40 hours is very doable.
Yeah, apparently people who are like platinum the game, it's like 80 something hours. Which I have half the trophies right now, so I don't know I assume there's gonna be 10 that are just like ridiculous to get and will take forever. So I assume that's what's gonna happen. I will say the game itself, if you have either a really good video card or the PS5 Pro, this might be potentially in terms of the environment. I don't want to say characters, but like environment might be the best open world game I've ever seen. Might be. It's up there. I'm trying to think of ones that look better. This is like up there for environments. When you're walking around, looking at stuff around you. I don't know. This one does all the seasons really well too. Like when they change, and this is like shockingly good at times. I mean, I've dropped pictures here and there in like some of the chats, and it just looks almost real at times. And then seeing it in motion and at 60 frames it's quite impressive on the PS5 Pro. So I think this is still their Anvil engine. I think they just like fully reworked it.
Yep. Running
So
on Anvil.
it is quite impressive. I will ask this though. They've done Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, and now Shadows in this RPG setup. Is it time to move on from it? Because the thing I see people mention, hey, it's still kind of it's still like Assassin's Creed with the numbers and everything. And obviously they moved to that when they did Origins after Syndicate, because Syndicate didn't do so well. So they had to change things up. But Odyssey did well. Origins did well, but Odyssey did well. Valhalla did really well. Jury's out on Shadows. We'll see. We'll probably come back to it after a year to see where it landed. But is this, you think there's time to move on, MVG, from this to something new?
I'm a little biased because I really like the formula, and it's been a little bit since Valhalla, which I did play and I enjoyed, even though it was stupidly long. I don't know, like I think if they can just make interesting stories in the different universes, but with the same kind of gameplay mechanics, I'm happy enough. But I have heard people saying maybe it's time to move away from this. But what would you go to if it wasn't this? Because this is kind of just a typical kind of open world game with main quests and side quests and all that stuff. So where would you take it, I guess, is my question back to you, John. Like, what would you want to do, or what would you want to see? Assassin's Creed, where would you want it to go? Because I don't feel like we can just go back to like AC2 and AC3, even though they are, very, very good games. I feel like video games has kind of evolved since that point. So what would you want Assassin's Creed to look like if it's not this, I guess, is the question I would ask.
That is a good question, because it's hard to argue with them if it keeps working. Like, let's say Shadows goes on and it doesn't, I don't think it's going to sell Valhalla numbers, because that was that point in time of the pandemic. People were inside, and I think a lot of sales were boosted back then, obviously, like 2020 and stuff, when this was right alongside the series and the PS5, and it was also on the PS4 and the Xbox One, so it just had a ton of people to sell to. But let's say it does like Odyssey numbers, which is like 15 to 17 million or something like that over its lifetime. If that's the case, then you kind of probably stick with this, I assume.
Yeah,
which is
I think so.
Kind of a shame, because I will say, while it works, I can see how the next one I'd be like, it's still kind of that. Okay, it depends on the setting.
The next one is Ubisoft going to be around for the next one?
Well,
Yeah,
whoever gets the IP, I guess, in wholesale.
I have to be the guy that points out the flaws of the game instead of.
I pointed out the flaws. You weren't here for it, so
Yeah.
let's hear your take on
I
this.
mean, it's a fine game. It's an Assassin's Creed game. To me, if this game came out 10 years earlier, I think it would be better received. The voice acting, you should have used AI or homeless people or something, because the voice acting is terrible. Like,
are you using English or using Japanese?
I'm using English because I am English.
Because he doesn't want to read.
So
yeah, I'm not fucking reading.
Just on that note,
The Japanese ones are bad.
Hold that thought. So I'm playing.
You also
with
don't know what they're saying in Japanese, though.
Well,
Go
There's
on.
subtitles. You read, John.
That's what I'm doing. So I'm playing the Japanese audio with the English subtitles, and even that, you can tell some of the voice is it's a little amateurish. I feel like it just doesn't fit right. So obviously they didn't spend that much money, getting the audio
People
stuff
around
figured
the
out.
office.
Yeah. Like I don't think it's a bad game. I severely question people and outlets that give the game a 10. I understand that no
I
game
wouldn't
is
give it a 10.
perfect because of the fact, no game is perfect. Every game has flaws. Your favorite game has a flaw. But like a 10 should be used for something exemplary or something that does something completely different. And I don't get, it feels like Assassin's Creed. Like, it's cool. There's definitely some very cool moments, but I also feel like, you have the traditional Assassin's Creed bloating. You have all that sort of stuff with it. You still have the vantage points. You still have the RPG system. And it's just like, I don't know. I liked Mirage because it was a bit more streamlined. And I know when you create this big, ooh, nice dunk, up 31. when you create these big games, especially when you look at Ubisoft properties, games like Assassin's Creed, games like Far Cry, you make them bigger and bigger and bigger, and at some point they almost feel like they get a little bit too big. And then it's like, okay, well, where do we go from here? Do we keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger, or do we at some point go back to square one? So, you know, it's a fine game. It looks nice on my Xbox Series X in performance mode. I don't like the base building crap either, and the base building is slow. You know, the frame rate halves when I'm in there, and it's very noticeable.
Talked about that.
It's a yeah. I caught the tail end of that. It's fine. 7-ish, maybe 8-ish, low 8. Okay, that's fine.
I'm right at a solid 8.
It's not going to save Ubisoft. It's not going to sell 25, 30 million copies. If it hits, 15 million like you were talking about, that's probably 15 million at a very steep discount. Because when you look at Ubisoft games, a lot of them are inflated by things like steep discounts. They have done it time and time again. So I don't know. It's fine for what it is. If you like, the stealth, I think is actually pretty fun. I honestly wish I could play as Yasuke more. Like, he's just a fucking barreling ball of just fucking wrecking people and shit.
I figured you play as him a lot.
Yeah, that shit is fun as fuck. Like, let me play as him more. Like, I don't need the parkour and shit like that. Let me wreck some motherfuckers.
Are you using the huge spiked bat?
I mean, yes. And the some of the kills are really cool as well, but I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just it ain't. You know what? It's not Black Flag. Okay, we're still not at Black Flag levels, and I don't think we'll ever hit Black Flag levels.
I mean, won't we hit that when the remake comes out at the beginning?
I don't know, John. You put trust in this company?
Well, if they're just remaking the game and they're not putting it as an RPG system.
You don't know.
Black Flag is just Assassin's Creed, but pirates.
Yes, but it
would
was
be like
fresh.
older format.
It was fresh when it came
With
out.
boats.
And it had boats.
And no RPG, not as many RPG systems. Less
I'm playing a real RPG right now. Okay, so let's just
that's what Assassin's Creed Black Flag is, though. It's but it's pirates and it's less RPG systems, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Good.
It's okay as well. But I don't know if that's gonna all of a sudden everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, now Ubisoft is back with Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I mean, it's
Black Flag is just for me. To me, that's my favorite.
That's their send off for you. You can just grab it as they burn and fall into the distance.
Like, I don't give a fuck. Fuck those people. But let me enjoy my Black Flag again. I booted up Black Flag a couple of months ago on the Switch, and I was like, wow, I love this game. Like, it's so much fun. The world is so creative. The characters are voice acted very well. Great game. But yeah, like, Shadows is fine. It's not the savior. It's not going to sell all that great. And they still have the common tropes that a lot of Ubisoft games have that they just can't seem to move past for whatever reason. And I'm done.
Yeah, I don't think this game was going to save Ubisoft either way. Like, the way Ubisoft got themselves here is like a string of just poor decisions, poor releases. It'll take a string of good releases and good decisions probably to get them out of it. So if this game hits and then Black Flag Remake hits and then Far Cry 7 hits and then Division 3 hits,
whoa,
maybe they'll be on the way.
If you don't shut the fuck up about Division 3, goddamn, we're in a group chat and he was like, yo, what if Division 3 saves Ubisoft? Yes, John, Division 3. That's the Pied Piper for Ubisoft.
Well, if they get to Division 3, then they've probably already been saved. And then maybe that's by 10 cents.
Somebody's going to say
Division 3 is 2027 probably.
Their IPs are too valuable. Somebody will come in and do something.
You don't have to save them to get their IPs. You let it burn and you just buy it at auction.
Well, they'll be reincarnated. Just
how else did THQ Nordic become a thing? Like,
they'll be reincarnated as something else.
Yeah, they probably need like a big private investor, like big firm, to come in and just basically give them a buyout. That's what would have to happen. Apparently, places are ready to do it, but they don't want the Guillermo family to just have full control over it still, which is probably a good idea just based on what we've seen. So it's kind of like, yeah, you want to fix it, but you need new leadership to do so. So I think the game will reach expectations, but I don't think it's gonna like all of a sudden be this crazy new best-selling Assassin's Creed game. I think those days are kind of done for now. But going on discount, maybe next year we'll hear about it moving like 10 million copies or something total.
It's already $10 down digitally on Best Buy.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It
It's like
begins.
Xbox digital. Yeah. I mean, it's not shocking. Let's be real. In a couple months, that thing will be probably like half off. It's like Ubisoft's MO. There was something else, MVG, because I think Medallion brought it up in the chat. I wanted to see what you think of this. The credits of the game are 2 hours long, okay? And I'm starting to realize now people online are figuring out that a lot of people need to work on these games. But the thing I think some people don't realize is many of these big AAA games have criterias for you to be in the credits. Like Rockstar is one I think that's kind of infamous for that, where if you don't have a certain threshold of either time spent there or amount of work done, they don't put you in the credits, even if you've touched the game at some point. Yeah. So I thought it was a little interesting to see that, where people go, oh, wow, there's a lot of people work on these games, which in this case, I think Ubisoft, looking through them, because people were playing, you jump through and stuff, they were just labeling everyone. I almost thought like everyone in the company got a shout out or something in this thing. It's very different than what I've noticed in other credit rolls, where a lot of people will complain. Then we just did a whole thing with Nintendo and Metroid Prime, where they're like, the whole team wasn't there. Why wasn't the original team in there? Well, then the credits would be 15 minutes long.
And Donkey Kong, was it Tropical Freeze, the remake or the remaster?
Returns.
Oh, Returns.
Yep.
Sorry,
Returns.
Yep.
HD. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't have an issue with a 2-hour credits roll, except for the fact that maybe they should have scrolled the credits faster or something, because it does move pretty slow. But yeah, I mean, if you worked on the game, in any capacity, your name should be in there. And look, these games, they cost a lot of money, and a lot of people work on them. There's many different external development teams that work on these games. There's so many people that are involved in making AAA games these days. This is not really anything that's really surprising to me. But yeah, I mean, you're going to start seeing this a lot more often. But I think crediting everyone that's involved is the right thing. So I'm okay with it. I mean, if you're going
to... sorry.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, if you're going to sit there for 2 hours and watch a credit roll, it's kind of on you, I guess, at the end of the day, really.
Everyone should always be credited for these games. I know that does suck, and I hope that you can skip it if you don't want to watch it. I'm assuming, yes, you can. Or they make you watch the 2 hours. I wonder if there'll be a speed run of the credits. But for that, everyone should be credited, because, you know, if you have a part in the game and you've worked on that, and like not everyone's in-house in whatever studio they're working on that attributes to the game. So having that credit is something that you put on your resume, and having proof to indicate that you worked on that is important. And it's also cool to, you know, see your name in the credits.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I disagree.
As of now,
people should not be in the credits. No, I'm joking.
No credits, actually.
No credits for you.
No one made the game later.
So, yeah, I played Shovel Knight. You're not in the credits. See, what are you talking about?
That's before I got hired at the company. Anything 2020 moving forward, I am in. But
we'll
yeah,
see about that.
How
dare you?
Hold on a minute. Haven't they done any patches since then?
No, not for Treasure Trove. Okay. But moving forward, so like for DX and Mina, I'm in there, and
are you sure?
Dungeon Dig. What the heck are you talking?
Oh, Mina, interesting.
I'm one of the people that helps gather the names. Of course, I'll be in there.
When do we get to see that credit roll?
When's Mina coming out?
You know, that's a great question. Anyways, eventually, but it'll be really good. Everyone should wishlist on Steam. Okay, just throw that on there. But yeah, no, it's good. But also, like, you know, there's shout outs. If you worked on the game, there's also I'm not sure if Ubi has it, but some studios do friends and family. So like if you were emotional support, then, or like anything of the sort, or like production babies that were born during it, you know, those get thrown in there.
I just thought of something, Celia. Like,
what?
Imagine the credits for freaking Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's gonna be like 1 million people. It's gonna take 10-15 hours, because everybody worked on that game.
That game's never coming.
All of us worked on that game. You guys didn't work on the game?
That game is never coming out.
What if
when it does come out, you'll see, and the credits are going to be massive.
Well, as of now, Assassin's Creed Shadows, they said 2 million people have played it. Players. So no official sales numbers on that. And somebody, I guess, tweeted on Saturday to make sure everyone knew, which was kind of funny. I figured they'd just wait till Monday or Tuesday, but I guess they wanted to daily update.
They did 1 million, then they did 2 million.
Yeah, I guess
They did two
they're on
updates.
the phone was there on a Saturday. It's like send the tweet, send it. So maybe they'll send another one tomorrow, or maybe they'll actually wait until Monday, and be like, 3 million or something. So they have their engagement, I guess, is the golden word now for these companies. But we'll see how it turns out for them as they go along. I think there's DLC and stuff planned, so we'll see. Moving along. Let me hear about this Xenoblade game. I know RPG85 has it. I know OJ has it. A lot of back and forth last week on Xenoblade. I know Sean's been playing actually quite a bit of it. I have played 2 hours. 2 hours of it. So I've seen it in handheld mode and I've seen it in docked mode. So there you go. Go ahead,
2
Sean.
hours. 2
Yes,
hours.
Yes,
The
that's.
hell is
I
that?
mean, I've been playing Shadows.
17 and a half, pal.
Your RP. I don't have the RPG name. I'm
Dude,
I'm just
Level
calling it an
20. One by one.
this might be RPG 85 might actually beat a JRPG. Like
I've
this
beaten
is
several JRPGs, sir.
which ones have you beaten this generation?
This generation?
Yeah.
You'll have to give me time to think. I don't document all of my games.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
What do you want me to? What do you want
You've
me to
beaten
say?
so many, you can't name one. That's how many you beat.
John, what's an RPG I beat? John probably knows more games.
Why are
than
you
I
asking
beat.
John? Is he your dad?
Sean,
You just beat one. You just
wait,
beat one.
I just beat Avowed. Go fuck yourself.
It's not
Anyway.
a JRPG.
What? Wait,
It's an RPG.
You beat Live Alive, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beat that.
Yeah, I remember.
Years
There you
ago.
go.
Half
Okay.
a decade
Well, you can't
ago.
say no. It's RPG, right? You can't say JRPG. It's RPG.
Yeah.
We're on one
racist.
hand.
Anyways,
I
What
think
was
that
I
was the
saying?
last game I played, Live Alive.
Live
no,
Alive.
I did Avowed. That was 31 hours, I think. Anyways, this game is fucking great. This is the best. This is one of the best games I've played in a while. I love the enhancements done to it. The graphics are prettier. I have one major complaint, but beyond that, I've been thoroughly enjoying my time. I just did chapter 5 of the story mission. I plan on having it beaten probably by 2 weeks, we'll say. Maybe next week. That's kind of stretching it. But yeah, it looks great. It plays great. I'm thoroughly enjoying my time with it. The world looks better than ever. The gameplay loop is still very addicting. The exploration is just fucking phenomenal. I love the game. I loved it on the Wii U, but I think I like it even more here because it actually looks and feels better because of the graphical enhancements done.
Go to OJ.
Are you running with the squad like Xenoblade, Sean?
I haven't gone online. I did one online mission, but I just did it by myself because I just wanted to get some experience. My one complaint of the game, by the way, is I want to be able to speed up the cutscenes. I don't like having to sit there. I read faster than they talk, so it's like, I don't know, it's kind of annoying to me. I wish there was a way to speed it up, or after I read it, be able to skip to the next portion of the cutscene like you could do in a lot of games. I wish they would have implemented that. But other than that, like, I really don't have many complaints, if any. Love the soundtrack, love the character design, story. It's kind of funny because evidently some people don't remember every fucking game they've ever played for the past 36 years, but it's funny to remember like when you're playing it, you're like, oh yeah, that happens in the game. I just got to a big story plot and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about it. Like, just and kind of remembering certain creatures and certain areas that you visit. And the game is fucking massive. When you first look at the map, you're like, oh, okay, it's pretty big. But once you're actually out in the field, like, bro, it's a big fucking map. And I just love like trying to find like little pieces of like alien technology to level up that, and find the different points where you put the transponders and shit like that. Yeah, I love that.
Did you get the game when it first came out on the Wii U, Sean?
Yeah, I had the collector's edition.
I was gonna say it's weird to think. I mean, that was end of 2015. That was December 2015.
Yeah,
it feels like a whole nother lifetime ago, and really that was like 9 years ago.
And the game still feels very fresh. I think it does things better than some modern games do. You know, games that have come out since then. And the mission variety is super fun. I know Wood is kind of going through it right now because he's never played it. So he's like, when do I get my Skell? I'm like,
man,
child.
break the news.
He was like, where do I? He was like, I need to level up. Should I just go kill some things? I was like, well, you can, but you might want to do some missions. Or with the mission board? Yes, go to the mission board. You'll get. There's too many missions here. I'm like, variety. You got to get your money's worth out of it.
Oh God, Lord. That's hilarious, actually. That's good.
What do you think,
At least
OJ?
he's trying. At least he's trying.
What do you think of the game so far, OJ?
Yeah, I played thoroughly the original game on the Wii U, and the upgrades here are nice. Like Sean said, with the graphics and all that. I think I'll focus on some of the other stuff. The playability is much better here because they give you tips. They give you like a glossary that you can read on the characters. They've done this really cool thing called the quick cast in terms of like your abilities, so it kind of speeds up the gameplay more. There's a lot of really cool gameplay adjustments that I feel like was better for people just understanding how to play. The tip section, all of that, the fonts, UI, all that stuff is bigger so you can actually see it. The original game, it was tiny. It was minuscule. Sometimes you could not even see or you could not read it well enough. So I think they did a good job of the playability there. The game was the core foundation of the game was always really good. So just taking it, making it a bit better. The sound quality is significantly better. I played it on a surround sound back then, and I felt that it sounded good, but they've definitely improved the sound quality and the surround sound, so it sounds great. So yeah, everything, like I said, it's the same game, but just even better. Revamped, and I'm really enjoying it. I mean, obviously a huge Xenoblade fan. The one thing that I would say is, because I already know, but I'm hoping that when I play like the epilogue, it's better. So no spoilers, but like, yeah, the story's just not. I mean, it's okay, but it's just not up to the level of the other Xenoblade games, which I already know. I already know that's not the case, and it's never going to be up to that level because all of those games connect, and they're just the storytelling is considerably better, characters, writing, all that is just much better in my opinion in the original trilogy, and the expansions for the trilogy. But I think that the gameplay, and like the skells and everything else kind of makes up for that a bit, But that's the only thing that I would say with this game. That's the only issue that I would have would be like some of the story stuff. But outside of that, it's really good. Yeah, outside of that, it's really good. Sometimes you clip through the enemies when you're fighting, depending on, certain scenarios. I can get really in depth into it, but I'll be here talking forever. So I'll just say that same game that I know and love, but they just made it way easier to play for people, way easier to get into. And yeah, it is different in terms of the stuff. Like it is very different in terms of how they do like the soul voices and some of the other stuff. And even how you cast arts is different from Xenoblade 2 and Xenoblade 3. It's kind of like Xenoblade 1. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm like 7-8 hours in now, so I'm enjoying it quite a bit. Chase my level 80 more.
Bro, some of the shit the game's like wants you to fucking solid snake it or something and be like, all right, here's where you need to go. There's a bunch of fucking huge ass creatures that can absolutely wreck your butthole, but
there's a very easy way to solid snake it. So if you choose, for those who want to know, just a little tip, what's it called, Elma, she has a like a shadow cast or whatever that turns her invincible, and you can just run anywhere that you need to go to. So that's just the easy way to, if you need to solid snake it.
Nah, you fucking take the challenge on head on, and then you run like a bitch.
I don't recommend doing that.
That's how I've been playing.
Use Elma, use the shadow strike or shadow cast or whatever the heck she has, and then you'll just turn invincible and you can just run through where you need to go to. It's fun though. It's fun doing little things like that. And another big thing is that I love the fact that they actually have like the party you can access all your party members right there. That is such a massive quality of life improvement. The quality of life stuff in here is great. Before, you had to go back to the actual Blade HQ and switch from there. It was terrible, but now you have access to all of your party members at any point, which is also super dope.
And the loading times are much better. I remember that from the original game. Like, the loading times were crazy. Like, you could go anywhere on the map, and it's like, boom, you're right there.
Even booting to the title screen only takes, I think it's less than 10 seconds, which is better than all the Xenoblade games. Xenoblade 3 takes a while to load to the title screen, so yeah.
I mean, it's impressive looking on the Switch. I mean, I know it's a Wii U game, but back then that looked really good on the Wii U as well. So you could tell that Monolith did some other stuff to sharpen it up and touch it up here clearly. So I mean, I don't know if Digital Foundry did their look at it yet.
Not yet.
Okay, I'd be curious what they find on that, because Monolith's going to do some things on the next gen. So it's good to see them round out Xenoblade completely. You can buy a Switch, have the entirety of the Xenoblade franchise represented right there. So it's cool to see.
Yeah,
it is. So it's a game. If you buy it, you're going to spend some time. It's going to be a while, but I know Gene Park did like the best marketing campaign for this game on Twitter. He was just showing skells and stuff and rolling around at max level, and people were like, "Where do I get this game?" It's like here, but it's going to be like a good 25 hours until you get a skell. So just understand, it's not going to happen right away. But that's Xenoblade Chronicles X. It is out now. You can check it out. Let me see some of the super. Is there an easy way for me to look at these? I like be able to click them and put them up on the screen. I don't have that tab anymore. Here we go. Chrono McLeod says, did you guys see the leaked build for Until Dawn on the PS3? It was going to be first person. Also love the content. I think that just break today, because I saw people mentioning it on.
Yeah, I literally just saw the tweet from, I think it was Wario64 or someone like 5 minutes ago. So I was just reading up on it. Looks interesting.
It was going to be first person. Weird. Huh. I wonder what changed their mind on that.
I think it was for the better.
Agree.
Deported Sicilian gamer. Oh, wow. Says, OJ, how do you like the PS5 Pro? Did you get the disc drive? More importantly, did you sell that busted PS5 to your wife at MSRP to afford the Pro?
That shit was based as fuck. Y'all gave that man hell about that. Nah, that's fucking... That's a grown-ass man move.
So I thought about selling it to my PS5, but I didn't feel like... Or selling my PS5 to my wife, but I didn't want to get divorced. So I opted on not selling it to her. She already has one. So I already bought her a PS5. So yeah. I didn't sell it to her. But if I did, it would be at MSRP. If I did. Oh, shout out to the Dreamcast guy, man. It's all good. He threw in games. And the controller too, just to let you guys know. It wasn't
He didn't have to do that.
Yeah, he didn't. You didn't have to throw in the games and the controllers, so a lot of you guys are giving too much help for that.
No.
Oh, man.
It's a bonus.
Cody Bishop says, look into reports from last year about outside influence campaigns targeting male gamers with anti-diversity content. Not as organic as it seems. Okay. And thanks, Cody. Then the champ says, hey, y'all, and Celia, John, can you get Super Metal Dave 64 on Spawncast for when Metroid Prime 4 drops? Would be great to get his take. It's his jam. We'll have to get Dave and MVG on. That'd be a great podcast. It'd be fun.
I gotta get Rob from Rule of Two Review.
Oh, yeah. Get Rob on here, too.
Rob. Yeah.
Brian says, tell RPG85 his video on Shining Resonance along with the wild hair inspired me to go back and play Shining Force again. Much love, Spawncast.
Play Shining Force 3 if you can. That's my favorite. You got a Saturn, emulate it, but really good game. Strategy RPG, but very, very fun.
Eric says, hello all. Is Xenoblade Chronicles X a good starting point for a newbie to the series? Shout out OJ for the pre-show. Love the Spawncast.
It is and it isn't. Honestly, that's the best answer. It is because it's a one-off. It's like, okay, great. You can just play this on its own, but none of the other games, if you like it a lot, none of the other games kind of play like it, but not really. The story, the tone, like you're not a mute character. You are actually like a main character. Like it's very different. So sure, you can start there, but just know going into the next ones that it's not going to be the same experience. So just keep that in mind.
It's not. This one's not connected though, right? So you just jump in and play.
I mean, there's some fan theory connections, but for the most, no, it's not. 1, 2, and 3 are connected. Like if you play through the games like it is a ride. But this one you can just kind of play whenever. You know, like you don't. You can play it after. You can play it before. You can play it in between. It doesn't really matter when you play X. You know.
Lord of the Pepsi says, "Love the family of podcasts y'all do. Thanks for the great discussions and keeping me up to date. Love all the guests. Always look forward to tuning in." And I scrolled all the way up to see if I didn't want to miss anybody. I think I had another one.
I thought I saw a couple.
Okay. Casual Noob Gamer says the Emperor of Japan was upset that you could destroy items in shrines and feels it will influence people in real life to do that. Ubisoft put a patch. I didn't see the Ubisoft put out a patch. They did I think it was like a day 0 patch or something. So I think that went live before the game went out. Like I feel like my Assassin's Creed copy updated twice before release day. And I assume one of them was that. I think it was that, and because they had the patch notes. It was like that. They removed blood, I think, from like innocent civilians in the village or something. Boo. I don't know. Yeah. Yay, censorship. And then there's Medallion who says, Shiitake. Thanks, Italian. There's an NPC in the game that just randomly yells that for some in like the weirdest like clipped together voiceover. And Until Dawn, I think we're good. Quest for Glory Gamer says, where's Streamlabs John? I updated it along with everyone on the panel. So if there's anyone here you like or technically dislike, you go find them on their channel. You can go give them a hard time in their comment. Actually, no. OJ does the pre-show. Sean reminisces like an old man on his channel. Evan does the tabletop stuff. Celia is active over on Twitter X. We're trying to get her to do videos at some point. 3Es.
I know 3Es.
And MEG did an awesome video on the Xbox 360 soft mod process and why people can now actually play around with Homebrew on the 360 without even having to open it. So I would check that out. How'd that go, by the way, MEG? Do you do anything else with that?
I've been out of town, John, so I haven't really had a chance to mess around with anything. But shout out to everyone that watched that video. It fucking blew up.
I didn't watch it. I read Tom Warren's article though.
Oh,
shout out to Tom Warren for the article.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate you.
Yeah, basically you can. MVG went through how you can unlock your system for Homebrew with just a flash drive and Rock Band demo, right? Blitz demo. Rock Band, one of the Rock Band demos. So
I'll make
Rock Band Blitz.
Stop.
Thank you.
Stop.
Atomic Toaster says RGT85 is now the king of Xenoblade. Crack open the champagne.
Salute.
There it is. Yum Yum Game says we should hear something from Sony today as it's the 20th anniversary of God of War. Well, will we be hearing a new God of War game soon or a collection? Great question, because that was something that apparently happened today, I guess. Jeff Grubb kind of did a bit of an update. So we do have the God of War, like the 20th anniversary stuff that was happening. And Sony said that they weren't going to have any major update, no major game announcement or anything going into like the panel and stuff they were doing for the weekend. But we did have Jeff Grubb, who seemed to do an update on, originally it was like, oh, it's going to be a God of War remaster collection. Now that doesn't seem to be the case, and it's going to be a side story, but the Greek mythology now side story. So like then a prequel for it. I don't know. This is kind of getting all over the place. I'm not really sure what is happening here other than mixed signals or poor sources. I'm not sure. This is very strange. The collection makes sense, sure. And it seems like obvious money because otherwise God of War is not available on the PS5 right now. So it's like, I mean, you could stream them, but come on. Like, I think most people would like to get a collection. I don't know what this is about, a side story. We already had like the God of War free DLC Valhalla or whatever that dropped. That was fine. It was a fun bit of extra content. I guess this would be like their Lost Legacy or something for God of War. I guess. I don't know how you go backwards though to Greek mythology though, unless they're just doing a full prequel. I assume that the Knicks did they do something cool, Sean?
That's fucking up. No. No, you do God of War Yasuke. All right.
Thank you.
I thought that was a
Thank
good
you.
Go fuck yourself.
Super Christian Me World says, OJ, tell the folks about the Xeno control mapping.
Oh, yeah. If you want to play Xenoblade a bit more comfortably, Xenoblade Definitive Edition, the original, or Xenoblade X, the same mapping works. So essentially what you do is you just take the D-pad. Instead of using the D-pad to scroll, you just map the buttons in the controller screen, map those to the ZR and ZL. So you can move and you can change the arts at the same time, because you have to position yourself in Xenoblade. So yeah, just go on the control mapping and just do it that way, and it makes it like way better to play. I map the jump to the D-pad, even though I map it to the right D-pad. It's a little weird, but you don't have to jump very often in Xenoblade X, so it works, and it's actually surprisingly comfortable on the Pro Controller. Mapping portable mode, you have to change around a few other things. I have the mapping to, I think, jump button to L, so you do move to where you can switch targets, but it still works. That same basic concept still works either in portable mode or on there. But that's what I've done, and it makes the game like a million times better. Like, not a million times, but it makes it way better to play, because you don't have to use the D-pad and stop moving to control an art, to scroll.
Atomic Toaster says, RGT 85, more like RPG 85. Heck yeah. Sean coming through. And Scott S says, hey, RGT, how's the hairline doing? JK, great pod, like always.
Okay, that's fine. I mean,
no concern.
That's what you asked
Sean.
That's what you asked John.
No concern. No concern.
John does not care about his. Curly John does not care. He's like, bro, I'm just do what I got to do. It don't matter.
He should shave it.
I already got 3 kids. It's amazing I still have hair.
That's true. That's true. Usually when the kids come, that's when my hairline started going back.
It's all over.
10 years ago, my first starts going back right there.
Let's see. I did one. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this Xbox image real quick. Xbox posted something that it seems like somebody maybe messed up, or they accidentally put this live. Somebody edited it wrong. Something happened here to where they posted an image on their own blog that talked about opening the doors to billions of people. With a B, billions. And in this, which I think I can zoom in actually, right? Yeah, good. I can actually zoom pretty far in here. So if I pull this up, boom. Open billion doors with Xbox. So the interesting thing about that is you have the Xbox, the ROG, looks like almost looks like a Mac. Well, that could be like a Surface or something. Tablets. And then it says it has a Steam tab right there. So you have Steam, owned, action adventure, Game Pass. And as soon as people saw this, they realized, wait a minute, that UI doesn't actually exist right now. So either Microsoft, an intern, had a fun day just mocking up some like weird UI thing for an advertisement and didn't consult them, or this was going to be the UI that would get pushed out eventually and it wasn't ready for prime time yet. As in, this is something that we'll see on their OEM handheld later on this year. And of course, it got everyone talking once again about the idea of Steam on Xbox and what that actually means going forward. There was also an update from Jez Corden. Sean actually covered this in his video earlier today about backwards compatibility, which we can touch on in a minute. I put up a poll asking people, would you be more interested in the next Xbox system if Steam was something that could be installed and available, which would then mean most of your library, maybe all of it, who knows, would then also be available on the Xbox. I guess technically then it wouldn't, it'd still be an Xbox brand, but it would feel more like just a PC that you buy for your TV then. And like 75% of people said, yes, I would be more interested in an Xbox that had Steam installed. So it almost feels like now Steam is something that could drive Xbox systems, but I don't know how well that'd do for Microsoft on their back end when it comes to sales. So do you think this is an intern that had some fun and just posted this up, or is it possible that Microsoft had a bit of a whoopsie there and posted?
So not to kill the question, but that's not how that works. Like, an intern isn't just being like, oh, I'm going to make this marketing graphic. And posted it, or, on the blog or whatever. Like, legal has to approve these things. Anything that's coming out of like first party's mouth. So Either it slipped past their team of like lawyers and then the entire pipeline that goes for approvals on this, or it was intentional to keep like this.
Well, they also pulled it down.
Well, pulling it down is that's weird. Did it just get missed on like the entire pipeline?
Well, they weren't aware it was even up until The Verge inquired about it. So The Verge asked them because they noticed. They said, "Hey, that UI doesn't actually exist, and it says Steam at the top. What's the deal here?" And then Microsoft pulled the image down.
So something just must have gotten misstated because that was approved through the line then. Obviously, I'm speculating, but its existence was approved, but the timing was not.
Yes.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I can't put it past Microsoft because they've done some things that don't seem like they line up correctly at times for like this entire generation in the background with marketing. So for me, it's not hard to believe that maybe they messed something up and it wasn't supposed to be there and somebody hit like send too early or something.
Do you think also it could have been a accidental leak just to kind of get the conversation going about them? Because that's not something unheard of.
Theory. I like it.
Do you mean like a controlled leak, Celia?
Yeah. Because like that's a strategy that can work, and also to get the conversation going and the narrative with the Xbox being everywhere, blending all the platforms together where you can access your library. In general, it would be a plus point in Xbox's marketing book, so that could be something. Yeah, like Mr. M said, publicity stunt. Like that feels more like it. I just have such a hard time believing that it would go through legal because they catch everything, literally, even with their party, with working with them. Like they're very strict and they have, they go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. It just doesn't feel right that would be included in there without it.
Well, wasn't the problem with the This Is an Xbox campaign the idea that some of the things they showed weren't fully up and running? So it does feel like maybe there is a marketing track where by now they thought Steam would have been connected and they just never hit snooze. They're just going and things are coming out and then they're just remembering, oh crap, we didn't do that yet.
It does technically have the same green text at the top as This Is an Xbox. You're right.
This is all internal. This is connected branding, and I think maybe we're just going to keep getting ads for stuff that should have been out by now that they just didn't do.
Jeez.
I mean, I think this is the UI that we're going to see in that Asus Xbox handheld. So this kind of is them, I think, playing around with Windows
John,
that it does start to look like.
It's clearly a mock-up. But look at those thumbnails. They're not even aligned correctly. They're stretched out too much.
Is that a new Xbox console with jizz crusted on it? What's going on with
that? It's the Galaxy one.
Galaxy.
The Halo one.
Who the fuck owns that?
Basically, plastic errors built
John,
in.
I also did a poll as well, and someone that I know who doesn't get into PC gaming, she said she would be interested in it as well.
Oh,
but I don't know, man. There's way too much. There's way too many questions and like red tape that I feel like you have to factor in with something like this. Like, because like, I guess my biggest question would be if I buy this Xbox and I put it under my TV and it's essentially a PC that works like a console, how does it compare as a PC to other PCs? How does it compare to a console as a console? And why would I use Microsoft's storefront when the games are probably going to be cheaper on Steam? Like,
that's a fair question.
I have a lot of questions of how. Of course, you have the whole Sony aspect. I ranted about it for like 15 minutes today in a video, but I just feel like there's a lot of things that have to go right and a lot of working parts, and too many cooks in the kitchen sort of situation. Is everyone going to be on board with this? Like the image that is being put out there.
Yeah, that's fair. I do think from the consumer standpoint, it's hard not to be like, oh, wow, that would actually be pretty cool if Steam was just available, because it opens up the Xbox to, I mean, many people out there just have Steam libraries that may be even dormant for a while because they do the Steam sale thing for a couple bucks, throw a few things in there and then they forget about them. But just over the, couple decades now, people have accumulated games that all of a sudden would just be available day one on their Xbox. And then they just have access to those Steam sales you're saying. The math might not work in the the short term for Microsoft, but maybe in their mind, it's like, look, we can get more people on board and try to turn this thing around. Maybe, but it feels like they're just losing the brand war at this point, and it's like, go ahead, get Steam on here. Although maybe the long play is for Microsoft to buy Valve someday. I don't know how possible that is, because that leadership would have to change probably many times for that to even happen. But at this point, Microsoft would have to figure something out. Maybe this is their big swing.
They would need a ton of money.
Wasn't the big swing Activision Blizzard? Why would they want to buy Steam for? Like, I don't think Steam is in. They make so much money anyway. Why would they need to like sell to Microsoft?
So when they ruin
I don't think as long as
bring it
Gabe's
all
there,
down.
they would want to sell.
Yeah, Gabe's already a billionaire. There's like, you wouldn't be like a super billionaire, like a multi billionaire.
It had to turn over many times. I think that, like, I'm talking way the few, like their leadership that changed multiple times or so. Like, I think as long as Gabe Newell's there, it would stay private, because they get to do all kinds of weird stuff anyway with technology. So why would
I feel like we're reading way too much into this. Isn't this just like a front end, and you click on that Steam and it just takes you to the Steam launcher? I mean, isn't this just their version of a Steam Deck? You know what I'm saying? Like the front end for it.
Consoleized Steam Deck.
Yeah, because I mean, Windows, you know, like on the ROG Ally, right? I don't have one, but I'm assuming it's just running Windows. And in order to get access to Steam, you got to actually double click on the Steam icon on your desktop on your ROG Ally.
You can use the Armory crate, which has your games that will boot up at the start. But you know, I don't know. There's a lot of questions that run through my head with this, and I don't necessarily think it's like the worst idea in the world. Like I said, my poll results were 100% interest in something like this, but execution is a big question, because is this going to be would this be consoleized enough for console gamers? Would it be PC enough for PC gamers? Like, they're two kind of distinct breeds. You know, there's a reason why people like consoles. There's a reason why people like PCs. Like, Evan, here, we'll test my poll right now. We could go down to 50%. Evan, would you be interested in this?
Probably not, because my TV's right there. My computer's right here.
We're down to 50%
shit?
interest now, John.
But if you're actually, Evan, if your TV was, let's say you had a TV in a living room, and then you had your desk with your nice setup and
That
your
is
PC.
my living room over there.
But like you had a separate room kind of thing. Because I'm picturing the next Xbox, if it had Steam on it like that, that would be the big complaint I see about PC gaming right now, is that it's gotten like incredibly expensive. Like it's to the point where you see the video cards that show up, and everyone's like, "Come on, Nvidia, why are you like, hey, look at this $1,000 video card?" Or they try to hype up a $500 video card that's as strong as a 4090, but then when it launches, it's really like $700 or $800. And it's got frame gen and all these little tricks to get it there. And people are building systems that are like $2,000 or something, like all the new parts. And then if Microsoft is like, hey, we got a $600 or $700 Xbox that plays games well enough, and it's just like your TV box that you put in the living room, but not to replace your main powerful system, could that be a secondary system for people? Like the Switch was kind of like a companion system I noticed for a lot of PC gamers, because it has the Nintendo games and stuff on it early on. Would this be like a little companion box or something that would still have your Steam library and you put in another room?
I mean, it depends on, I guess, how it's executed and who it's focused for. For me, I don't really care, because the only place it would go would be like if I do like a projection screen or something in my bedroom. But if I'm in there, I'm going to sleep. Like, that's what I'm doing in there. I'm not going in there to be like, let me turn my console on and play another 3 fucking hours of something. That's not happening. But I mean, for some people, that's probably fine. But like, there's always weirder alternatives, especially if whatever box they create has some of the issues with a lot of the AI frame generation that causes input latency. Because comparatively, there was already things with Steam, like the little Steam box that would stream from your PC to a TV you could hook it to, that apparently was really good for like latency. Like insanely good for latency, which I imagine would be a lot cheaper than having to buy this.
To jump in real quick. Sorry to cut you off, Evan.
3 E's.
With 3 E's. Great input, Sean. This feels more like Steam or Valve is dipping their toes into the console market than Xbox dipping their toes into having launchers on their console. Just like in general, sorry, my cat's doing stuff. So basically, like, I know we were saying, oh, what if Xbox buys Valve? But what if Valve buys Xbox? I feel like it's such an easier way to like for them to do things. Because in general, I've always been like more of a console gamer. Like I didn't get into Steam until like 2017, to be honest, because I always was like, well, my games are on my consoles. I don't need to play anything else. It's fine. So like, you know, having everything together, the libraries make sense. And I feel like if I was still in that mindset of like, well, I have all my games on my console, that's a great way to get me into Steam. So I'm kind of curious if this might end up being like, if this is successful and this UI is correct and there being a more emphasis of Xbox spreading out, being a more involved, like maybe partnership between Valve and Xbox would make sense since they already are like a majority of the PC market anyway.
It feels a little net because the whole thing with the upcoming games is like, oh, upcoming games are 70 and most games that come out on Steam are still 60. So you're going to have this like weird window shopping situation where you're going to see games from the Windows store, the Microsoft store, that are going to need to compete now with the Steam games. And if they don't play ball with like the back and forth sales, which I mean, Steam just dominates them in sales front, honestly, 9 times out of 10. If you're looking for seasonal sales, like it could just end up being very negative.
I'd wonder if that also would be their play for like Game Pass. If you're going to Steam to buy the games, yes, but if you have an Xbox, you might also sign up for Game Pass as well and be like, oh well, this game is first party Microsoft, it's there. I'll just download it there. But then Monster Hunter comes out, well, okay, I'll buy it on Steam. You know, that kind of thing, back and forth. Microsoft still seems pretty focused on Game Pass. It just hasn't grown like they've wanted it to. So maybe it's their next gen push. Although I don't really know, because it seems like they're not going to go back. And the thing that's throwing everyone else off MVG, because you're right. You know what? If it was just the ROG Ally, the computer, the phone, the tablet, and the TV, I'd be like, you know what? It might be true. It's this Xbox. The Xbox right there is what's throwing everyone off. Because if you had like a Steam tab on the Xbox, it's weird because you're not going to launch any of those games, I assume.
Right. I mean, you know, that's the interesting part of this discussion now. Like, what does that look like? And I know that I think Windows Central posted an article recently about how Microsoft is rumored to be moving away from the era
to Win32
to Win32 to basically just kind of make these basically PCs. I mean, that's one way you can solve for it, and maybe that is the approach they're taking. But there's just so many unknowns with this that I don't know. For me, it's just like this could go many different ways. Sealy brought up some really good points too, and I guess the other question is, and Sean, I didn't watch your video, but you did touch on it about the PlayStation angle.
Oh yeah,
because we were talking about this on Xbox era earlier. How would Sony feel about something like this, like playing PlayStation games on an Xbox? Do you think they would care? Or do you think they would care if it would matter that you're playing like Spider-Man 2 and Last of Us Part 2 and, you know, all those PC versions on an Xbox? Or do you think they'll just don't care? It's like the money is king, so they don't really care where you play it. I'm kind of in both. I'm in both camps. I don't really know.
Sony won't.
They won't like it, but they can't really close that Pandora's box because they're just going to be converting the Xbox less from a console brand and more of a PC brand at that point. If it's just going to be a mini PC, like what the hell can you say about that? It's like a whole different way to be taxed on delivering these kinds of consoles. Because wasn't that a thing? Like the PlayStation had the ability to install OS because there was like a different kind of bracket for cost when they were shipped to places because they could be considered PCs. Like it's just.
That's another good point. The online play
that's gotta go.
I mean,
it's gotta go.
It's gotta go if you're gonna do that, because I don't. It just and I'm also not a huge fan of doing a dedicated handheld and a dedicated console as well, because obviously, you know, they're gonna have different target specifications and stuff like that. And if it boils down to the companies making profiles because they're willing to, you know, like with Steam Deck or something like that, then okay. But if the average consumer has to go in there and fuck around with things to make it work on their Xbox 2, whatever the fuck they're gonna call it, I don't think they want. I mean, that's one of the reasons why people don't play on PCs.
Yeah, but
Here's
9
what
times
I-
out of 10, you can automatically select settings. Like that's almost a weird thing to think of because it always approaches the idea of like, oh, you're going to install a game on PC, it's going to start at maximum, you're going to figure it the fuck out. No, the game figures it out for you 9 times out of 10. Like it just does it.
Here's what I will say. There is so much different types of rumors and speculation about what this could be. And I feel like they're in a situation again like they were last year about the rumored 4 games that were coming to PlayStation where they had to get ahead of it. I don't feel like Microsoft can just let this go because there's all this talk about the direction they're taking this stuff, whether they're just going straight to PC. There's talk about OEM devices. There's talk about making Xboxes just Windows devices. Man, I mean, it's cool to speculate and it's cool to generate hype, but I feel like a lot of this stuff is just becoming very confusing about what exactly they're doing. And part of me wonders if they have to start announcing what their plans are earlier than maybe they anticipated, because the longer this goes on, the more confusing that it gets for customers. And you don't want to be in that situation, I don't think.
Well, it's okay because the Xbox ROG Ally won't confuse anyone. You know, that'll just flow right in. They'll completely understand it, and everything will be fine. I mean, but that's I think Microsoft's marketing for Xbox has been very confusing. You know, like it's very strange to me. Very strange.
Let's start the generation where they thought they were going to have a pivot from the Xbox One to the Series, and they were going to make a big push to get exclusives onto the system to push it more like a traditional console versus the Xbox One launched. And and they said TV, what was it, like 40 something times or whatever during the presentation, and people were looked at it more as an entertainment center kind of box. But now we're to the point where we're talking about them moving to like just full Windows on the console, and it's sort of a PC in a box now more than ever. And it's almost seems like another reset, another pivot at the end of this generation once again. But you're right, it is kind of all over the place right now, Sean. Stuff like this doesn't really help because it's not really focusing in on what any one thing. It's just like it feels so all over the place and just kind of scattershot.
All I know is there is one person that I know who is 100% behind this. Shout outs to Colt Eastwood. He sees the vision that we don't.
Their vision was completely different at the beginning of the gen. It was
But
exclusives.
He sees it. That's what makes Colt.
Listen,
He sees it while we don't.
I get that, Xbox doing this is extremely boring though. Like, listen, and I know it's probably best for Xbox, whatever. I know people will be upset, but it's boring. It's just not. It's like not lit at all. Like that's cool Steam integration. But
it is dim.
It's just
Shit
bro.
is
It's
dim as
just
fuck, bro.
there's nothing lit about this at all, bro. Like there really isn't. Like, and I get it. Some people are like, no, it's just games, but it's just PC then. It's just PC. The whole what we grew up with Xbox. Like, well, I didn't grow up with it. I was already old when Xbox came out. But like when Xbox first came out in 2001, and it was about Halo and it was about Fable, and I get it. We've heard this argument a million times, and I get that. And I know that's old. It's not the new way of doing things, but it's just not as exciting. Like, it's just not. When all your games come to everything, and now it's just basically PC, it's not as exciting as it once was. It just isn't.
It's not going to feel as exciting on the FOMO end, sure. But it's going to feel exciting for the consumers who are going to start seeing like, oh shit, there's more 50% off sales more often.
Sure, I have access to that already.
Yeah.
I already have access to it right now on Steam with PC.
Now but the thing is, it's going to force it on Xbox because now they're going to have to be competitively priced on their own shop. They're not going to have an option. They have to do it at that point. So it's
we're going to get game sales. That
like
sounds
big ones,
great.
Consistent ones.
I love that.
I'm so excited now.
Yeah, let's all be
Cheap shit,
stoked, guys.
children. Let's go.
There are a lot of people who just don't want to deal with PC stuff to where it'll be like a whole new world for them if Steam is on the Xbox and they hit a button and it opens this shop of magical 90% off sales, every other week.
I mean, sure, is that what y'all look forward to?
I'm sure that plenty of people look forward to that. Yeah.
That's
There are
the
people
exciting
who
thing to get
troll
hyped
Humble
about. We've
Bundle for
always had
sales.
sales. Sales have been a thing for forever.
OJ,
Just
welcome
not
to marketing.
incredible
It's
sales.
new and shiny now.
Sales have been, you can buy, back then when there was actual physical copies, you can buy games used. Cheap games have always been a thing.
And now it's gonna be really exciting when there's no more physical copies and 90% off sales for the keys.
Yes, I mean, get excited for that. Listen, that doesn't mean like I'm still gonna buy it, of course. I want to make sure I make that very clear. Still gonna get it. I'm still gonna play the games if I feel like playing. If they make like Fable and all that, I'm still gonna play it. But it's just hard to get super hyped up for just saying, oh well, it's like I get it. It's probably the best bet for them now because of the mistakes or because of whatever. But and I know some Xbox guys are gonna like it and all that. But I mean, I don't know, man. I keep it 100%. I'm just being honest. I liked it the way that it was. I liked it in the original Xbox era, the 360 era. Xbox One, they started losing me, but even that was kind of like, that's when they started kind of going off on some other stuff, whatever. But I personally prefer the 360 era and the original Xbox era. But that's fine. If they want to do this, it's cool. Like
we haven't seen that Xbox in 10 years, man. It's been a while.
I know it's been a hot minute. I'm just
but
personally saying, I just feel this is just not super exciting. Like
I know it's not exciting for us, but like I'm trying to be positive about it because I know it feels confusing and we're like, in the thick of things. But possibly it could be setting up for the next generation of gamers, like the Gen A that's entering this market. That could be their introduction to Steam, where they're using Xbox systems and accessing the joys of Steam and everything that our generation loves about that type of PC gaming and setting up that consumer base. So maybe, they're playing the long game for this, and it could be something that does build towards the future, or dissolves them. We'll find out. Go Steam box.
It's kind of interesting the way you mentioned that, Celia. I almost wonder if they could even position it. We're talking about it as a living room system. You mentioned like the young generation now that would be coming up that watches a lot of the streamers, and they'll watch the goofy games. What do they got? Like the Among Us stuff, all the esports games, the Goat Simulator,
the big one.
Sure. What could you also look at this Xbox? We'll just say it's like a PC in a box as a pre-built PC if it used a keyboard and mouse and everything. Like, could actually a parent buy it as like a $500 or $600 system for the kid as like, here's your more basic PC, and just set it at your desk and plug your stuff in and play your Valorant or whatever.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like entry market for that, that's even better. It works right out of the box too. So they don't have to tinker with things or like look into like hard drives and will it work on there and figure out what ray tracing is. I don't know. And I think it makes sense. And then also branding wise, like older generation as kids, they recognize what an Xbox is. If they're not familiar with gaming, they just know it's something that plays games. And I think that's a lot easier to swallow for like a $600 console than like entry level, like, I don't know, like $1,500 or $2,000 or whatever you're spending on it. So I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know if kids are going to be that doesn't seem cool at all to kids. At least like my daughter's 12. So I maybe have a little bit of insight on terms of what her friends say when I'm sitting at the basketball games and they're talking, and this is not it. They're talking about mobile. Mobile is the thing. Mobile, Switch, and sometimes PlayStation 5. That is
for a lot of them.
Okay.
My little cousin kicked all the consoles and everything to the curb so he could get a PC because he was fucking.
Did you
done
see
with
the
that
image,
shit.
OJ? Look,
Yeah.
the zoom in. There's I don't know what kind of phone that is. That was like one of those phones that you give like the grandparents.
But
we got one right there.
About the box though. I'm not talking about like the getting it on everything. We already know that's going to happen because they're already starting to do that. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the actual box itself.
Well,
it looks like one of those. Looks like one of those Cricket wireless jitterbug phones.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about marketing is it is a funnel system, baby steps with they're excited about the phone and the tablet. And if they're able to position themselves where the next step of that is, like when they're a teen or whatever in that market is the Xbox Steam 360, whatever the hell they position that as, then that's something that they could do. But the fact that they are excited about playing things on mobile and tablet, and they could access that too. Like that's where they're putting themselves, and they're spending, their shit ton of marketing dollars on trying to get things running for that.
When do you think they add GOG in the Epic Store?
GOG would be cool to see. Although that, I don't know, that'd be kind of weird because these companies, they like to keep that DRM on there if they can. That's gonna mess with them. Although we keep seeing some crazy stuff get dropped on GOG. I think Silent Hill 4 got dropped on there recently, right? So there's some cool stuff going on.
Fear anniversary. They just
did something. It was like $1 or something. It's like 99 cents. It was crazy.
I'll pull up
I
my
think-
GOG real quick. I'm the GOG guy around here.
Okay, you got it. All right, thank you.
I bought the fear.
No One Lives Forever, I think, is one of the highest voted games right now to try to get a version of it. So
Good luck.
we'll see. That'd be pretty big though if they got that done, wouldn't it? I might have to go. I have to pick that up there.
You
Although I
get
do have it physically over here. too.
Silent Hill 4 is $7. Fear Platinum is $1.99.
I mean, come on.
I already have
$1.99.
the first Fear. I can just reinstall it whenever.
Great game. $1. That's definitely worth $2.
You get System
see.
Shock 2 pre-order for $26.99.
We talked
Cody
about
Bishop
Shadows
says,
for a while.
Grifters moved on from Shadows really fast.
Yeah,
Social media never sleeps.
They'll be back if things don't go right.
Atomic Toaster says, I predict Microsoft is also not sure the direction they're going. I feel like they have an idea, but they're going to have to do some things they probably don't want to do to get there, which...
you get Lego City Undercover for $4 on there.
Oh, that's a
Pick up.
cool game. I forgot about that game.
Way. That game fucking
cool game.
rules.
DRM free, huh? That's a cool game. I gotta go find this again. How do I take this off here?
Dude, what the fuck is with that shit?
What?
Why did they get rid of the fucking tab on here?
You
They changed
noticed
it to
that right at the
something-
top.
Yeah.
They
Why
changed
did
it
they
to
do
something
that?
they think you might like more.
Where you
because they
can't
didn't
see
test
who
it.
gave money? Like,
Do you see that?
Yeah.
I have to scroll all the
No,
way up.
it-
I don't know what that's
yeah.
about.
Well, it happened on Thursday. I was like, I wanted to thank, all the channel members and fucking people who donated. I'm like, well, I can't. Sorry.
The fan funding tab.
It used to be up on StreamYard. They used to have a thing to the side. You click it, and it'll show everything that has the
StreamYard.
entire time. It makes it really easy because you can also click it and put it up on screen, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they did. I'm not sure. I have to look in the options. Maybe they unchecked something or something. I'll see. Sean, let's talk about your topic that I thought was very good, and it's funny. You brought this up. I had the exact same thought when I did the 3DS video
Oh, yeah.
about
That's like, what the fuck are we talking
about the handheld ports and how we kind of miss out on those now, right? Or I had said when I did the 3DS video and I was putting it together, I was like, you know what, the ones I'm interested in right now to go back and look at aren't the popular ones. It's like the weird port that they had to make for a DS or a 3DS or something just to see what it is. Because you're not going to get the exact same X-Men Origins Wolverine or something on the DS. You're going to get some weird version. And it is interesting you brought that up. It's like, yeah, that's not a thing anymore because other than, I mean, the Switch, obviously hybrid system, it just gets the console version moved over, right? It's what it is. But even like no more Vita, PSP, nothing. So we kind of just have the one version of the game. You brought up that's we're kind of missing something there. Did you have any games in mind that you thought of and you're like, man, this was it might be a bad version even, right? But it's like we don't see these weird versions anymore.
Well, I mean, if you look at like the entire DS library when it comes to games that were ports of other things, sometimes it was a bit quirky and stuff like that. But like, I love Resident Evil Deadly Silence. I love that game. I loved the multiplayer with it. Me and my buddy used to play it. I love the first person perspective that you go into when you enter certain rooms and you got to hack and slash. Games like Tony Hawk American Skateland. That was one of the first games to have online connectivity on the DS. It had a completely different art style, but it played really fucking good. And it's just, you could be so much more creative with these essentially, budget entries of big games because, you're only spending $30-$40 on it, maybe 50 on some of the higher end stuff. But no, I just feel like the death of the handhelds, it also helped, in times of, okay, like say you're a PlayStation gamer. Well, there's nothing really coming out for PS3 that I'm super interested in, but I got these PSP games that are coming out that I'm interested in. Same thing with like Nintendo and stuff like that. And it just feels like, actually, it was American Skateland on the Nintendo DS. I'll get the fucking box right now. But no, it just feels like you're losing out on experiences. And plus, like all the handhelds, they had sort of their weird gimmicks and stuff like that, but it made things fun. It was essentially what it was cheaper gaming. The handhelds were cheaper than the consoles. The games for the handhelds were cheaper than the consoles. And yes, you wouldn't get the exact same graphics and stuff like that, but I feel like it made up for it in terms of gameplay experiences.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of which generation had like the weird port, like the really weird ports, because the Game Boy Advance had some weird ones. Oh yeah, there it is. Is that the one that? Okay, so that actually makes me think of the Game Boy Advance Tony Hawk game actually as the big one. Like Tony Pro Skater 2, when that dropped on the Game Boy Advance, was awesome. That was like Vicarious Visions 2, I think, that did that. That is a really cool port. Even 4, like we talked about the semi-open world stuff with 4 on the consoles. They kind of tried to pull that off on the Game Boy Advance as well, which was neat.
Well, you could like
Spider-Man
design
3.
Yeah. I mean, well, I wasn't a huge fan of the Spider-Man games, but there was some. Some games definitely worked better than others. Let's be clear. Not everything that was reimagined for handhelds.
Yes, was bad.
Nah, bro. That 4-player online multiplayer, bro. I used to just sit in a bunker and with a sniper and just wait for fools to walk by. But not everything worked great, but there were definitely experiences that you can't really replicate. And you also factor in, the way the systems were designed, where they're talking about, touch screens or microphones or back touch pads and stuff like that. Gyro sensors. Obviously, you have some gyro sensor stuff now, but it wasn't as prevalent and stuff like it. And you could do. I mean, you remember the Magician game on the 3DS?
The Magician game.
Yeah, dude. You would get you bought this game, and it came with like some like magician gimmicks. I forget what it was called. Like,
did it teach you magic tricks?
You would do magic tricks with your 3DS.
What?
It was fucking cool
Look
as
this
shit. I owned it. It was awesome. I forget what it was called. I think they made like 2 versions of it. But even like Spirit Camera on the 3DS, where you would like look around and there'd be like ghosts in your house and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember that with the cameras and stuff. Yeah, man, what is this? What is that game called?
Maybe it was
magic tricks.
DS game. Hold on, I'll look it up. Magic.
Okay.
Yeah, there were weird ones with the DS camera. Some that didn't come over to the US.
Matt,
the one where you turned it and like the screen would kind of shift. It was awesome.
Master of Illusion.
Master of Illusion. I have to look that up. That's funny. It would show you like magic tricks and you have to perform them.
Yeah, it was tight, dude.
We had like they would teach you how, like the DS probably taught an entire generation of people just random life skills growing up. They had like all those like those ones where it would like teach you cooking or anything. It was crazy.
There was a DS game that McDonald's in Japan gave to people to like learn to be workers there, right? Like, not
learn to be workers
that.
on the job.
It was a training program.
Yeah.
It was.
It's like super rare.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
funny.
rare. It was a training program, and it was awesome if you can get your hands on it.
Is there a ROM floating around or like nothing?
I'm not sure. I know Did You Know Gaming covered it. That's how I heard about that.
Yeah.
That thing. I'm not sure if there is or not. There might be, but I think there's lockout software on there or whatever. Like you need like some type of code to get into it. So I'm not sure if the ROM would be if you could even get in through there or whatever. I know they said something about that.
It was funny back then. I swear we would look at our handhelds and be like, man, can you imagine playing their console games on this thing? And now we got to that point, and now we're like, man, we missed that handheld era. Like just the weird ports.
There is a ROM that you can go on Archive, and it has a save file, and you can do it on a modded DS or 3DS or emulator.
That's rad. Yeah, it used to be my dream to be able to like bring my Nintendo 64 outside, and now we have a Switch for that. But it's not the same. It's not the same dream.
Need the weird.
I played a Sega Nomad back in the day, and that was kind of crazy.
That was kind of
10D batteries in there.
That was the Switch kind of before the Switch.
Yeah, because you just plugged Sega Genesis cartridges right into that. So,
dude, I wanted one of those so bad. My parents fuck off.
I couldn't afford it. My rich buddies. Same thing with Neo Geo. I never had a Neo Geo, but rich friend had one. Go check it out.
Now you got me kind of wanting a Nomad because I do have a decent Genesis library.
You're just gonna buy your entire collection back now.
No, I never.
You can modify them pretty well. John, we installed, I think, an LED light.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't want the screen in that thing, do you?
No, I would get a modded one.
Yeah,
You could change the screens out. Yeah. You
Yeah,
can do a
John,
lot of stuff
I'll
with
get
it.
right on that with my soldering tool.
Go for
Not
it.
you. I'm saying you're probably gonna buy one. I mean, you bought a modded Dreamcast. Even that's like one of the easier systems to mod.
Here we go. Sega Nomad, new LCD recap, Sega Master System, and Sega CD mod chip. Tested, ready to go. That's pretty expensive. But...
How much is it?
Yeah,
500, right? It's 500.
No, a little
it's more than that.
I think it comes
more
with.
than that.
I think it comes with. Does this? If it comes with the EverDrive, that'd be kind of.
Oh.
Let me see here. It's 600. Let's see. Where's the description? Full recap.
Full
You can
recap though. That's not bad.
Full recap. You can play Master System games. I guess you could do cartridges. Sega CD mod. The Sega CD mod is primarily for improving audio output when connecting it. Oh, I'm not gonna do that. Sound amplifier mod. Brand new LCD. New glass. New AC charger or an AC charger. Battery. Additional batteries. Go fuck yourself. Trying to nickel and dime me. The screen looks fucking sick on it though. All right, I'll send you the listing so you can
Play the Power Rangers fighting game on that. That'd be
Okay.
great.
Thank you.
See, I was very pissed about that when I rented the Power Rangers fighting game or the Power Rangers game for the Genesis, and it was a fighting game. I was like, "What is this?" I thought it'd be
It
a
was
beat
still
'em up.
good as shit though.
yeah, that looks really good though.
That was the same engine as Endless Duel, the Gundam one. So good.
Oh, that
I
game's
liked-
awesome. I love Endless Duel.
I preferred the here's one for a little cheaper.
Oh, it's on. I see it on eBay. Okay.
I preferred the movie game on the Genesis.
Oh, the side scroll beat 'em up.
The movie is fucking great. I don't care what anyone says. I just watched it a couple of weeks ago.
Which movie?
The Zed movie.
Power Rangers movie.
Power Rangers.
Oh yeah, that was a good movie.
Great. You got Red Hot Chili Peppers on the soundtrack. You got Van Hagar on the soundtrack. That thing is dope.
There it is. Look, there's the caps and everything.
Yeah, I ain't buying that.
That Power Rangers movie is still fun. It is. Looks like they did some good work to it though. That's like legit solder work and everything. Legit.
You can make an
caps.
offer.
Nice screen.
We'll see. Fuck it. Gee, trying to fucking gaslight me into buying it.
I'm just telling you, it looks good. That's not like that. It doesn't look like junk. So if they're willing to take pictures of the inside of the board, you're probably okay. That's not bad. Not bad. See, Claw says, "Hi all, my Series X is already a $500 bootleg couch PC thanks to Play Anywhere. If the next Xbox can be an actual couch PC with GOG, Steam,
Oh, sorry.
Steam right now priced like an RTX 5080, that's enough to entice me. All they gotta do is undershoot the video card. They're in. Were you trying to put something on screen, or are you just trying to click something?
No,
else?
I was just trying to. I was just clicking something, and
Andy Ackerman says, "Sorry, I'm late. Team MVG today."
What's up, Andy? Good to see you. Shut up, Sean.
Shout out to Team MVG. Cooper Slayer says, "GBA, DS, and 3DS Pokemon was better than Switch, in my opinion." I mean, you named 3
3DS.
generations.
3DS, no. DS, yes. GBA, yeah.
At the
But DS for
time.
sure. DS for sure. 3DS, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I mean,
DS
I
was
can understand
great.
3DS.
Yeah,
Never mind. I can
DS is
understand 3DS. But DS for sure goated. GBA, I can understand that. Like Fire Red, like, that was good.
Emerald was
DVD
great.
Yeah.
DVD
that
Night
was good.
says,
Yeah, GBA,
"Celia, appreciate your N64 love."
Thanks.
what about mine? I wrote
What
a
about
fucking,
mine?
I wrote a fucking book.
Yeah.
Guys, come on, let me get my compliment.
That's good stuff. I think.
Wait, go back to that last one.
Oh, what did I do? Did I miss something?
You had it up for like 2 seconds. Just put it up again.
Was it
Was
the
it another
Team MVG one?
Thank you. Thank you.
What are you
Hey,
fucking
talks about.
buying ones yourself?
I didn't have any questions for the Patreon tonight. So
Where's
any
the
questions
mailbag?
in the mailbag? I didn't post it up actually.
Look at
I
you
know.
slipping.
I know. They want if anyone wants to post it in the chat though, while we finish up here.
Just like random questions.
Yeah, just drop some questions, people. Drop some questions. Feel free. As we finish up and go around here. Yeah, I have everything. Next week, as I mentioned, we will be doing... Yeah, because I was going to get Josie to tell us about Split Fiction, so there's like 5 minutes. But she'll hopefully be back next weekend because we'll be doing a big predictions video for the Switch 2 event. We'll be talking about it, of course, leading into it. Since we're finally there...
Pretty much next week. It's pretty much next week.
So there you go. Yeah, it feels like it's been a while, so we'll be doing that.
We got a question.
See,
MVG, did you take some time to learn to drive a car in the U.S.?
Yes.
There we go.
What? You don't know how
I'm
to
looking
drive
at
a car?
chat.
Yes, I do know how to drive a car. I have 2 licenses, an Australian and a
The
US
steering
license.
wheel's on the other side, right? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That trip you up when you fly over there and like no?
No, it's like riding a bike, man. It's easy.
Bro, riding a bike is not easy.
Sean, do you know how to ride a bike?
I do, but it's been a very
Cardboard
long
defeats him every
time.
time, though.
With or
Riding a
without
bike
training
is
wheels?
easy. If you can skateboard, you can ride a bike.
No,
I'll say you can
skateboarding is way easier for me than riding a bike.
Oh,
I
God.
remember,
Not me.
like, not me. I remember when I was living with a couple buddies, one of them had a bike and I tried to ride it. This was like 10, 12 years ago, and like it was a struggle. I was like, how the
That
fuck?
is crazy.
Yeah,
Really?
I don't know. I'm a weird dude. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Skateboarding I did both, and skateboarding seems considerably harder because of what you have to do. You got to push and the kicking
Yeah.
and to be able to ollie and stuff
I did
like
it.
that.
I
You
did
don't
it
have
so
to
much
be
more
a
than
dolly.
ride a bike. I didn't really ride a bike all that much when I was a kid because I got a
Okay.
skateboard and I would just I'd take my skateboard everywhere. So it's more natural for me.
Necro Banana asks, random question, what's your favorite pasty?
What is a pasty, bro?
It's like a pastry.
Did
Like
he?
a
Did he miss
cake
the
or-
R? Are
If
we
it's
talking like pasties, like
I think it's like a
some
pastry.
places and clubs have? Or-
Like a
Like a
cannoli.
pasty- like some gloves.
Like I fuck hard with cannolis.
Or are we talking about the Cornish pasty? Is it just a British joke?
I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about, to be honest.
Shout out to Necro Banana. Z says, can Sean close out the show with a Dreamcast guy?
Yeah, but we're not closing out yet.
Yeah, when I go around, I'll get Sean and he
Yeah.
can do the Dreamcast guy. There's Rax. Hey, shout out to Rax.
What up?
Indeed.
Rax around.
Shout
So
out to
Rex-
Rex.
That's what we'll go with. We'll go with that. Wiley Tiger says there's a brown recluse sitting on RGT's desk.
Fuck off.
Oh yeah,
I
do we have an update on that spider? People were asking.
So so what happened was I was looking down like I'm looking right now, and there was, according to my wildlife expert, it was a wolf spider, which is indigenous to this area. I'm used to brown recluses that were indigenous to North Carolina. And so I got a hand vacuum and I sucked it up into the vacuum. And then I was looking into the vacuum to make sure he was in there. And he started like crawling out. And that's where the blood curdling little girl scream came from. So I left, I smushed it down on the ground and I turned the vacuum on again. So it would like get in deeper. And then I put the hand vacuum outside for the night. And then when I checked in the morning, it was gone. So
Those things like to jump.
yeah,
That
like
would've been
no.
awesome. Just
No, like I can't. And sometimes they'll like bite you and like you'll like almost lose an arm or something.
MVG's like, that's nothing.
Thanks, DC Fat Cat.
Their bites can hurt and usually require antibiotics.
Wait, MVG, when you go to Australia, are there like you've come across any of those like ridiculously big spiders anywhere around there?
Yeah,
Ones the
they're
size
called
of cars.
They're called huntsmans, and they're harmless. They won't.
Oh.
They won't. First of all, they won't fuck with you, and even if they did bite you, it would be irritating, but it would certainly not be like a trip to the hospital or anything. However, it's the small ones with they call them the redbacks. It's got like a little red on them. The small ones are the ones
Fluorescent,
you gotta mess. You don't want to mess with. They'll fuck you up pretty good.
like anything in nature that has a fluorescent on it, try to stay away from it.
Pretty much.
So, fun
Yeah.
fact: if you had a pet cat, cats attack spiders. Schmutz kills them all the time at my house.
So
and
you
it's
want me to
great.
get a
Sean.
cat so that it dies from a wolf
It
spider
would not
bite, and
die.
it
but-
requires antibiotics
It'll die
No.
from you before it dies from
and
the
a
wolf
bad
spider bite.
infection.
Yeah, dude, like Schmutz is an apex predator. He just goes for it, and I'll see him like chomping on something. I'm like, oh, that was a spider. Thanks, buddy.
I can see
just
it
gotta
6
spray
days
it,
in.
spray.
Sean's just staring at it like, do I need to buy you food?
Spray around the house, man.
He's
That's how I
hunting.
keep
It's,
the spiders out.
it's successful.
Necromana says they missed the Arbro pastry.
Oh, then eclair. I love eclairs.
Cannoli.
Canola. Okay. Okay.
Why is there only one? I like a lot of them. I like croissants. I like cannolis. I like.
Croissants are good.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I like lemon squares.
Lemon squares are good.
Oh, lemon squares.
Big Dreamer asks, does KOTOR remake get canceled or go gold? I think it'll come
Cancel.
out.
Why
I
not?
think it'll come out.
Cancel.
I don't think it's going to be the. I think some people might be hoping it's more than it will end up being. I don't think it's going to be some crazy quadruple A style game that they maybe had a plan for originally. But it'll come out. So
Cancel.
Tapperbot, no message there. Let's see. Lemon squares. Never been a lemon squares person.
Oh, I love lemon squares. Top tier choice.
Go around here. Oh, let me just double check while we finish up here. Let me check, make sure I didn't miss on Streamlabs. I did drop it down there. Let me go to MVG. We're joining us tonight. Shout out to MVG. I don't think MVG will be available next weekend, but the following weekend, maybe after we get the Nintendo event, we can have MVG on for a little bit sometime after that.
Yeah,
to talk
probably
about
not next weekend. Maybe the weekend after. I'm actually traveling again next week, John, so I may actually not be around. But
MVG's
yeah,
on
you can
the-
find me on YouTube at Modern Vintage Gamer. I am working on a new video. I'm a little bit behind because I got home yesterday and I just slept all day and all night. So I'm probably going to drop a video on Tuesday, but I'm working on something interesting more next week. So check out the channel.
All right. Let me go over to Celia. Celia, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Game and Talk. I have a cool Nintendo focused channel with Sean and Josie and Nate. It's a lot of fun. We chat on Wednesdays. And you can also find me on Twitter. I'm Celia B with 3 E's. And then for work stuff, the Shovel Knight concert is next Sunday. I'll be there. It's going to be really fun. It's the final and second one. It's located in Los Angeles at the Fonda. You can find out more information at shovelknightconcert.com. It's real cool.
Let me go over to OJ.
Yeah, find me right here on YouTube, Player Essence. I've got some pretty cool stuff lined up for next week. Now that we're moving on to the Switch 2, some nostalgic, cool Switch 1 videos that I'll be doing. And I run the pre-show as well, so if you want to stop by, check out the pre-show. And I pretty much stream almost daily for the most part. So we do daily live streams. And of course, Nintendo Switch and RPG content on the channel. So yeah, Player Essence, thanks for having me on once again. I'm also a huge Xenoblade fan, so if you're want to get into Xenoblade X more, want to try it out, we talk about that all the time as well, and the other games. So yeah.
Tabarbot says thoughts on Silent Hill F not getting classification in Australia. Cheers, guys. Oh, it didn't get the rating in Australia.
Yeah, it's banned. It's banned in Australia.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's banned because it's too crazy. Oh, I do want to add one more thing. No media covered this game. It's so crazy. It's the first time that I've seen it. And I forgot that I bought it. It's called Bleach Rebirth of Souls. And legitimately, there's like one review on Metacritic for the game. It came out at the worst time. But yeah, I'll be playing this game because I forgot that I bought it. So if you want to know about this, considering no major outlets really covered it at all, I'll be playing Bleach Rebirth of Souls 2 for fun.
There you go. I did not see Silent Hill F get banned basically in Australia. Interesting. There must be some. I have to do some stuff, I guess, to fix that up.
It'll
Blood to confetti.
It'll probably get through eventually, and even if it doesn't, games are region free these days. Just sign into another, to overseas account. Just buy it if you really care about it.
Yeah, wow, there must be some serious stuff in that game then. Jeez.
It's Australia and New Zealand have always been a little weird with ratings. In fact, the game I worked on is not available in Australia. Blade Runner, the remake or the remaster for that, was not classified.
Wow. Okay. Jeez. Well, what about Sean? Where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on my channel. Do have an update My girl Liberty has been freed, which is very important. Whenever I hear something banned I always think of Banned in the USA by 2 Live Crew and youtube.com/dream.
Going down to an audio only dogs can hear. Trick is, does he know how to inhale while still doing it?
He's dying, guys.
Gas guy.
That was pretty good.
That was
John.
That was
He
like
just immediately blacks out. Just
No, I had to like focus on something. I had to focus.
I was waiting for that wolf spider to enter.
it called him.
Oh man. And there were two over on Streamlabs. Adam asked, what game or series is the podcast? Gamer series. Ergo, it's a game or series that you love and enjoy so much that you'll go out of your way buying multiple copies of and or other items related to it, like books, strategy guides, statues, etc., etc.
Metal Gear Solid 3.
Wow, statues. I mean, it's mostly like Mega Man is probably the one just because it's been grow up with it, I guess. For statues, I don't really even buy a lot of statues for that though. I got the little Mega Man amiibo.
Well, I have an Elden Ring statue back there and a Resident Evil 4 remake statue. So
it's a good one.
Usually a
Everyone
sucker for
one of
mech
those.
statues. Don't even care what game it is.
And South Coast Horizon says, to all the haters out there calling the N64 Legends 2 boomer, please play 3DS Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask with the restoration mod, and Star Fox 64 before you shoot them down. Ocarina of Time makes the water temple enjoyable. There you go.
all right.
Evan, where can everyone find you, sir?
Well, you can find me on YouTube and most socials at Kimmerix Project. We pushed a lot this week on stream to get this shit done. It took about 30 hours of painting. So hopefully I get back to making videos. So that'll be fun.
Okay. Go check him out. Go check Evan out. Everyone here on the panel, there are linked down below. Go say hi, give him a like, subscribe. And we will be back next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Again, we'll be talking about a lot of the stuff leading into the big Nintendo event.